Game week 4, it's Sunday morning, it's absolutely glorious Sunday morning, and I'm still very much riding the high of Forest's 1-0 win at Anfield yesterday. I'm just a little worried that when that high wears off, I'm going to wake up screaming and bursting into tears at the fact that Haaland again wrecked my game week with a double figure return. It's just absolutely incredible. I don't know, I mean, obviously I'm beginning to near the point where I'm waving the white flag on Haaland. I look at it now and think probably another couple of game weeks is all I can go. More on that in a sec, but let's look at the stats from City's 2-1 win over Brentford. It went how I thought it would, to be honest. Close game in terms of result. Brentford took that shot lead through Visser's goal. I had him on the bench, third on the bench, of course, no luck there. Yeah, I was never going to start him at Man City over Robinson at home to West Ham, so I forgive myself that. And Haaland got the brace, of course, an XGI of 1.11, 6 shots in the game. He's now had 20 shots over the season. That's almost double ever than any other forward. And 73% of his shots have been on target. 45% of them converted into goals. That's not sustainable, Mark, of course. That's what I keep telling myself. That's what I told myself in BlackBox this week, if you saw it. But he just keeps delivering. He's an absolute machine. And if anything, City, without Foden and without other goal options in the side really, and Foden does provide the other main source of goals, I would say, it's just all about Haaland. It's all about feeding Haaland, even more than we've seen before. And he looks in peak physical condition, absolute, you know, the fear he's causing in defences. I mean, Pinnocky just pushed off the ball for that second goal. It wasn't great defending, but that's what you're going to get against Haaland. He's just a beast. And it's Arsenal at home, Newcastle away, so I guess I can take some consolation that perhaps I can wait 2 game weeks before I have to make the move. But then for game week 7, definitely 8, I need to get in there because of City's fixtures. So it's getting close to the moment where I have to kind of concede defeat on that and see if I can ride out the next 2 game weeks. Elsewhere in the game, KDB again showed up well, but came out of it with nothing. 3.38 XGI now for the season. That's the most of any midfielder. And in terms of team selection, Lewis did start. He started on the left and inverted, even though Walker was in the side, brought back on the right. But then he was subbed at half-time, Lewis, for Vardio. And this is what we're going to see now, I think, with European fixtures on the agenda for Pep. He's going to play with his lineups more, and everything we thought we knew about their team, which looked quite settled, we're going to have to relearn a bit now that the European fixtures are with us. As for Brentford, Wisser picked up the injury, and that's a blow for early adopters like me who need him for game week 6 onwards when Brentford's fixtures really turn. We'll have to see how bad that ankle injury is. What does that mean? It could mean starts for Schade, who replaced him up front. It could mean Lewis Potter plays there. Does it impact Mbeumo's output? Could do. This would be a big loss, let's face it. So we'll have to get the prognosis from Frank on that. And then the other thing of note, Sepp van den Berg. Is he going to be the 4 million defender that we need? I mean, Brentford's fixtures are great. People are presuming now that he's got that start, but they do play 3 at the back against the harder ties. So against easier opposition, the type of opposition you want a Brentford defender for, it's not certain that Van den Berg starts. I think he probably will claim a start because he's a quality player. And I might, if I was wildcarding now, I might take a risk on him, but we need more info. We need a couple more games before we can be sure for Brentford's run that Van den Berg could be the 4 million option of choice. If he does drop in, that would be great for us. See, if Salah had delivered, it wouldn't have been so bad for me and certainly for others who have backed Salah over Haaland. But obviously Salah got a lot of traffic going into the game week as well. But I watched the Forest game and Forest just contained him and Diaz really well. I mean, the fullbacks were outstanding. Salah was very quiet. He had 3 shots, Diaz had 1, but neither really threatened that much. Diaz had that 1 chance that Yates gave up, which perhaps he could have done better with. But a blank for the Liverpool attack. And And for Trent, obviously with the Hudson-Odoi goal, Trent created 4 chances. And, you know, it's just a bad day for Liverpool. There's no fear going into Bournemouth, Wolves, Palace and Chelsea that Liverpool assets won't reward us. But I think what I saw in that game was real concern that Salah could so easily be shut down, if you like. I mean, Forest played well, but there is certainly much more chance that Salah's going to be stopped than Haaland, it seems, based on the evidence we've seen so far. And Forest, I mean, maybe I'm underestimating them, and I'm trying not to be biased as a Forest fan and back Forest too much, but defensively we were excellent, and that's 2 clean sheets now, and Sells with 5 saves as well. Moreno made his full debut. Now, if I was going a Forest defender, it probably would be Olaena, because I think, you know, the fact that Moreno played left and Aina moved to the right, that's a sign of things to come. I think Aina has got the right back slot and he's more natural out there. But Moreno, his attacking qualities are going to be really tempting if he can nail down that start. And he was outstanding. I just don't see him giving up that left back berth now. So Forest could be worth a look. They're up there with the defensive data last season. They're up there this season, and maybe I need to not do them down because I'm a Forest fan, but actually see them for what their potential is in FPL, which is perhaps a very solid defensive unit. Let's touch on a player that did deliver, and that was Ollie Watkins. I mean, we went into this period of fixtures for Villa thinking that Watkins would be a target for us. We were put off by the fact he's been taken off on 60 minutes in most of the games. Not so this time. I mean, Villa had to push. They went 2-0 down to Everton. Everton again letting that 2-goal lead go. Yeah, Watkins played his part with a brace, of course. And then Duran with a wonder goal. Watkins had 6 shots, 1.25 XGI. And it's what we expected really over that period, those fixtures. But we were just hesitant, weren't we? But now going forward, the fixtures remain good for Villa. And it's Wolves and Ipswich next. And you've got to think that, yeah, would you move to Watkins? I guess he could be an alternative now. Certainly the captaincy, for those who were brave enough to put it on him, got rewards. Certainly you're going to hold your Villa assets, aren't you? And that includes Rodgers, who is turning into somewhat of a troll. It's ironic that the classic troll Dina got the assist for the first goal. And then we've got Rodgers in the team who just seems to be flirting constantly with returns in FPL without actually delivering. I think he had 3 shots, 1 chance created. Looked impressive again, but came out of the game with absolutely nothing. Elsewhere for Everton, not too much to say really. Defensively, they remain a real no-go. So Pickford just doesn't look to be an option for us. And at 5 million, perhaps he wasn't anyway. The only other thing to note for Everton is Calvert-Lewin becoming an option. 5.9. They've got Leicester, Palace, Newcastle. And that's a good run. If we need a 5.9 striker, maybe Calvert-Lewin is someone we've got to consider. But at the moment, confidence in that Everton camp's got to be a concern. Another blank for Eza, and heartbreak for me because he was my transfer in for Smith Rowe. Again, he flirted with returns, 0.80 his XGI from the game, but came out with nothing. He's had 18 shots for the season. I think that's second only to Semenyo from midfielders, but no returns, and significantly didn't take the penalty that Marteta converted to get his brace. Very painful for me that, with as having Marteta, of course. So, I mean, after the game, Glasner said that they've got 2 penalty takers and they decide on the pitch, so that's a lot of use to us, isn't it? But as an Eza owner, expecting to get penalties as part of his appeal, that is a little bit of a concern now. But of course, his data remains fantastic. Marteta got 4 shots on the day, 0.58 XGI. Excellent performance by him, but overshadowed in terms of the data by Nketiah, who made his debut with 6 shots, 0.57. He looks promising, and the 3 of them as a front 3 look, really quite potent. Are going to cause people problems, and I think you're going to be holding your Palace assets going into these next 2 games. It's Man United and Everton. They should be able to profit and score goals in those games. Whether they'll get clean sheets though is another matter. Henderson, a very popular 4-5 option at the start of the season, at fault for the first goal. And yeah, I think defensively Palace don't look sound at all. It's in attack that we're going to remain invested. Bruno owners get a return at last in the 3-0 win at Southampton. 5 shots, 1 chance created. The data was there again for Bruno, 0.57 XGI in the game. But I guess that the early adopters are looking to move away from him in wildcards now because the output just hasn't been there for him. And United as a team, you know, just not attracting investment at the moment. Xerxes was the top performer for XGI, 1.17, but came out of it with nothing. Garnacho got a goal off the bench. Diallo, 6 chances created. So the data is there, but I just think in terms of attacking assets, we're not going to look at United at the moment. It's Crystal Palace, Spurs and Villa, so the fixtures really aren't in their favour either. Clean sheets, maybe. They've kept 2 now, so maybe the defence with De Ligt, of course, getting the goal. So maybe defensively that's where we would go on United, but with those fixtures, probably not yet. As for Southampton, the headlines for them, if there were any, were around the budget assets. 4.5, Diblin made his debut in midfield. Looked really lively, won a penalty that was missed by Archer. And he could be an answer if you're looking for a 4-5 option. Maybe you go him over Winks, but of course, from a 4-5 mid, you're looking for a short start, so I don't think we can say that much yet. Diblin is a good player. I think he will break through and nail down a start because he did look their most exciting prospect and most creative outlet in the game, I would say, until he was subbed. Elsewhere, Harwood-Bellis was benched, which was a surprise as Russell Martin moved to 4 at the back. And I guess that's a concern now, although he has got a stay of execution because Stephen's got the red card. He'll be out for 3 games. So if you are a Harwood-Bellis owner, you're okay for now. You're getting away with it for now. But I think his future as a 4 million asset for us is in doubt, if it wasn't already, given how many goals they're conceding. Strange game at Bournemouth. Chelsea got the win, bit of a smash and grab with a late goal. Redemption arc for Nkunku and for Jadon Sancho, I guess. Sancho getting the assist for Nkunku's goal. Obviously, be flooding out of teams in recent game weeks due to the expected minutes, but came off the bench with 18 minutes to go, took the goal well. But just a bizarre game overall. Not a lot you can take from it. I mean, I was on Palmer watch, but really disappointed by what I saw. No shots, 1 chance created. And this is the problem, like if Haaland isn't going to dominate as a captain, we're going to need players like Palmer to step up, and that wasn't really a good audition for our teams, what we saw at Bournemouth. I mean, just some stats based on this season versus last. Minutes per XGI this season, 194.4 compared to 98.4 last season. And okay, that includes penalties, but let's look at touches in the box. It's 1.8 this season so far compared to 4.1 last season. So we're not seeing as yet data or the eye test to convince us that Palmer is going to be a second-tier asset that can make it worth spreading the funds if you don't have Haaland and Salah. So yeah, I'm concerned about Palmer at the moment. I'm not going to make the move. West Ham, Brighton, Forest next. So you're gonna hold on to your Chelsea assets, but I don't know. I want more from Palmer for sure. As for Bournemouth, Semenyo and Tavernier still remain good 5.5 targets. Semenyo had 3 shots in the game. It just wasn't Bournemouth's night, was it? And Chelsea managed to grind out the result. Sanchez, the leading performer on the night, with the penalty save, 15 points. Well done if you move to Sanchez in the wild card or before. And perhaps defensively, that's where we're going to look at Maresca's side at the moment, but only just 1 clean sheet. It's early days. And like I've been saying in all these videos, that's a work in progress, and I'm just not going there yet. So Fulham 1, West Ham 1. Was there a more predictable result in the game week? I don't think so. I think it's exactly what I expected, really. No massive standouts from it. Smith Rowe came out with 6 points, got the assist for the goal And of course I went into the game week selling him for Eza, so I lost out there. But yeah, he's doing exactly what we'd expect from a 5.5 asset. He showed up really well, 3 shots, 3 chances created, was subbed again on 73 minutes. So his expected minutes is a bit of an issue, but he's clearly the best asset for Fulham at the moment, and alongside Robinson, I guess, in defence. Robinson had his clean sheet cruelly taken off him by that last-minute goal, or late goal by Danny Ings, set up by Bowen. And I guess the other point of note was Muniz was dropped to the bench. I mean, it's not surprising really. 43 shots without a goal. He had been struggling. I think he was second to Haaland for shots. I think he still is, even without playing yesterday. But Raul Jimenez came in, got his goal, and I think it's his shirt to lose now while he stays fit. So that's a problem if you got on Muniz as your 6 million striker option. I think you've got to move off him now. Elsewhere, West Ham, not too much to attract to them at the moment. I mean, Bowen is going to be a differential over the season at some point, but just not yet, I don't think. It's Chelsea and Brentford, and the fixtures just haven't been great for West Ham for us to consider them. The final game was Brighton and Ipswich, which we expected to be a comfortable home win, but Ipswich put up a real strong away performance to get another valuable point. And the goals just didn't come. Matoma did okay, 3 shots, 0.67. He was the top XGI performer out of the game. But Brighton just couldn't break through that rear guard. And it was Delap who hit the post for Ipswich. He's showing up okay as a cheap striker, by the way. And when the fixtures now turn for Ipswich, maybe him and Davis are worth a look. As for Brighton, no João Pedro was the headline, of course. Came back from international duty. We thought he was going to get some minutes, but didn't even appear. He's got a knock. I don't think it's serious. And of course, the fact that Brighton didn't take their chances, didn't score, it should bode well for him to come back in against Forest, providing, of course, that injury isn't more serious. Right, I'm going to go back, join the family, and then get back and watch the North London derby and Wolves Newcastle next. I've got 4 players yet to play: Son, Saka, Raya and Isak. Oh God, I need something from them. I mean, best case scenario will be, what, 20 plus points? Worst case scenario, 8 or 9. Really need them to come in for me. Otherwise, it's going to be one of the worst game weeks I've ever had. I think I'm ranked like 9 million or something in the game week at the moment. And as is living it up after his Haaland, Hall and Marteta points. So yeah, it's going to be a miserable black box in the week for me unless I get something today. So let's hope that best case scenario comes in, eh? 19 points in, not what I needed, but good enough, I suppose, in this game week with so many blanks about. Saka was 7 points, Raya with 9, and then just a couple with Son, and then 1 for me. Zach, talk about that in a minute. But yeah, Saka came in with the set piece, 0.40. He was top XGI performer on the day, but it's not enough for him. He's a 10 million asset. I need more. And then the same from Son. 1 shot, 1 chance created, 0.17 XGI. That's just not good enough. I mean, with Haaland being so dominant, we need more from those assets to really justify not just going Haaland Salah. So yeah, it's a problem for me, that's for sure. And I've got to look at what I do with Son long term. As for Saka, he got a knock, but I think he'll be okay. I don't think he's made of tungsten, is he? He's going to be fine. He plays 90 minutes most of the time, and Arsenal flog him, so I'm sure that he's going to be fine for game week 5. What else in the game? Yeah, Gabriel exploiting the set piece threat, really hurting those who benched him or even sold him for this game. I can see why people did low and played Porro, for example. Porro, you know, he's second to Trent for chances created for defence. He's top for shots, so the attacking threat was there, but against this Arsenal defence, just they never looked like breaking through, did they? And so, yeah, Gabriel with 15 points, that probably hurt quite a few people out there that I've seen. And then Raya, I mean, what would I do without Raya? Again, clean sheet and 2 bonus, 5 saves. He's returned an average of 2 bonus points every time Arsenal kept a clean sheet so far, which wasn't what we expected. But I thank my lucky stars that he is in my team, because he is really plugging the gaps at the moment. Sunday concluded with Wolves 1, Newcastle 2. Real, again, Newcastle not looking great, but managing to get the result. Thanks to Barnes coming off the bench and hitting a wonder goal at the end. I guess the headline act here is that Isak was off at half time. He took a blow to the face, and Howe said after it was an eye injury. He'd already gone down overnight to 8-4, and now another price drop could be on the cards for him. I think I have to hold him and hope that Gameweek 5 will be fine for the Fulham game. That's a fixture where he could do okay, and Newcastle just finding a way despite not playing well. But it's like I've said before, it's these teams, Chelsea, Spurs, Newcastle, these are teams that are giving us assets in that mid to second tier bracket. They need to be playing better than they are, because until they do find some form and some fluidity, we can't expect the likes of Isak and Son and Palmer to make the contributions that we need them to at the price bracket they are. So I'm going to look at more of that in Wednesday's Black Box. We'll be doing Black Box on Wednesday a bit earlier. Not looking forward to it because I go into Black Box for the first time in ages being behind Az by 20 points. It's a strange feeling. I don't like it. So Az is going to be celebrating. I'm going to try and keep the show short. So I'm going to go off now and watch that Hudson-Odoi goal another 15 times to cheer myself up. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time.